All right, let's look at these containers and these gutters, gutter gardening. Fantastic growth here. I want you to look at these carrots. Oh my gosh. I don't believe how big these things have gotten. They're crazy. There's crazy growth in here. I wish I could get down in there and show you with the camera the base of some of these carrots. I'll do a harvest for you when I do that, and show you the size of some of the carrots that are growing in that. They are quite large. We'll do that another time, but I'm not ready to harvest those just yet. I got an eggplant here that is kind of in the shadow of my carrots, and this eggplant is flowering. Beautiful leaves, beautiful color, looking very nice. I've got some tomatoes here. I've got two 5-gallon buckets that I've put holes in to try the air pruning, to add a little bit to it, the growth through air pruning. And there's a net cup sitting in the reservoir underneath it, and between each one is some black plastic to keep the sun from creating algae. But anyway, each one of these, this particular one looks like it has 3 stems growing up it, and I think this is either a brandywine, maybe the hybrid brandy boy. But oh man, look at the stalks on that. Beautiful, beautiful growth. I've got some little tomatoes that are starting on it. The second one is almost assuredly a big beef, and it has got 2 vines coming out of it. And of course I need to trim that one off, but that's a sucker. But well, I'll do that later. But anyway, that one's doing really well also. This one is an 18-gallon tote, and it's got 2 plants with 2 vines each, and I'm pretty sure that these are a big beef and a brandy boy. Just wanted to do a side-by-side to see if I could grow 4 stems in an 18-gallon tote. Conversely, I've got 4 heirloom plants growing single stem in one 18-gallon tote. And if you'll take a look at them, they're all doing nicely. Lots of flowers. This one's got some nice tomatoes on it. And I had them marked on the little duct tape there, but the sun has killed my marking. So I'm not going to know what these are, but hopefully I'll be able to take a guess when they mature. Additionally, in the self-watering containers, I've got, otherwise known as gutter gardening, I've got some oregano there. And if you look at my past videos, the oregano was not coming along very well, but now it is starting to go. You can see here, this is the water in there. I'll put that over so nothing can grow in there. But look at this basil. I cannot believe that. Look at the size of that. It's crazy. I searched online, I've never seen a container of basil that big by anybody. So for me right now, I've got the biggest basil I've ever seen. I've got a couple squash plants in here. I'll likely remove this one. It's a little smaller. And that's a yellow squash, and this is a zucchini. And we're going to see how they do and how they produce. And they've been in there maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Beautiful color. Nothing is chomping on anything, which is the way I like it. And what is so good about having a greenhouse, the bugs don't come in. Of course, I'll have to hand pollinate those, but not a big deal. I know how to do that. This is my bean tower. I had showed it before. Crazy. I mean, these quadruple anything that could be done out in the garden. Anything I've ever done out in the garden. Beautiful, beautiful plants. It is half Chinese long bean on this one. And I'd say they are probably 24 inches tall, maybe. They, out in the garden, they're also slower than the green beans, the pole green beans. But once they did come on, man, they outproduce the green bean by a lot. So I anticipate at least similar production. But anyway, those are the Chinese red noodle long bean. And over here, I've got a pole green bean, the variety, or cultivar, variety, whatever, Vortex. And they have already reached the top of this trellis. And the trellis is taller than 6 foot, probably 6.5 foot after I cut it back. This was my pea trellis. And I'm going to have to add some more to these slants. Anyway, I'll show you that later. But isn't that awesome growth? Nice coloration. Not a whole lot chomping on it. I will tell you that there's a strangeness to a couple of the leaves. They're a little bit blotchy. But other than that, by the way it's going, I still have to see that they will produce flowers and set fruit. Now, this is the hybrid system. I've got some drip hydroponics, but that's not what this one is about. This one is about my pak choi and lettuce that are growing in the gutter gardens. And once it drips in there, it stays in this gutter. And essentially is basically gutter gardening. So underneath the gutter is a nutrient solution, and they are doing fantastic. There's a new lettuce. There's a butter crunch lettuce. Over there I've got some butter crunch lettuce. There, some pak choi. More pak choi there. Beautiful color. But I'm using two different types of medium here. I've got some perlite here. You can see as it pulls it up, it gets darker from algae and whatnot. And I've also, in this particular one, I'm using rice hulls, washed composted rice hulls. And so what's happening is that these little things don't need a whole lot of soil. They do find the nutrient underneath, and like most of the gutter gardening since I've been doing it, the roots find their way into whatever's below, the nutrient solution, water, whatever. So I thought I would attempt to not fight that, let it go. And so that's what I'm doing with leaf type vegetables. Over here, the celery wasn't doing very well outside in the garden, so I pulled this one up, and I have planted it in its own little thing there, and it is changing color, and it is starting to put on some growth. So I hope this is a good viable way to grow celery too. Wouldn't it be great to just pull a stalk of celery off and let the rest continue as you need it? I am very, very happy with the gutter gardening techniques that I'm using. Very ecstatic about operations being in the greenhouse. I'll cover real quick how these gutter gardens are being fed. There's three of these here. They're plumbed together. Over here, they come out of the barrels and down the tube where they feed these floats. And the floats, and the one over there, same thing. And so I have 150 gallons with some nutrient mixed into it, and that way I don't have to worry about constantly adding nutrient solution. And anyway, that's where I'm at with the container garden. Loving it.